So last week, news broke out fairly quietly and fairly matter-of-factly that New Line Cinema was going to be going ahead with plans to once again reboot the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Kind of my gut reaction to that was, here we go again. Hollywood, so destitute for ideas, they have to reboot their reboots. So that's kind of the initial gut reaction with these things. But another part of me, the gut reaction was good. That's good. The furthest away we can get from the 2010 remake from Samuel Bayer, the better. I think there's no love lost between that movie and fans, at least as far as I know. It's fairly unanimous that most fans of the series dislike the remake, to say the least. I know I fucking hate it, but there's that. On this channel, I did do a series review. Hopefully you may have seen 30 Years of Freddy, celebrating the 30th anniversary of the first film and talking about all the movies in the franchise. And in the last video, I did kind of talk about where the series could potentially be going. And I did kind of bring up three main possibilities. One was possibly kind of following the trend of going as a TV series. A lot of horror franchises seem to be finding themselves these days. I guess that's not the case, but funnily enough, that's happened to the Friday the 13th franchise, which, I guess I got the franchise wrong, but I guess 50-50 shot, could have been one or the other. Another could have been, hey, let's try to revive the original classic beloved series and bring Robert Englund back for one last hurrah, kind of follow that continuity, which would still be awesome to see. But, at this point, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, if news breaks out of that Robert Englund's returning, they're going to do another one with him, I will be overjoyed. But, I think he's done his duty for the series. I think he, even with, Freddy versus Jason, he left on a good note. Big hit, for the most part, liked by fans. So he's done his duty, and I think the fedora is laid to rest for Robert Englund. The other possibility that I talked about was somehow picking up the pieces of the reboot, of where it left off, seeing how they can continue it that way. And I guess this reboot, what they're going with now, is the closest to that, which I think is for the better if they're going to move that route, because the 2010 film just left nothing to work with. They fucked up the story completely. They made it in a weird kind of way where Freddy molested these kids and only wanted to kill the kids he molested. It didn't have that kind of universal fear to it that the original film had. So there's no option for a sequel in that. So if they went ahead with a sequel, they'd have to ignore the first film, basically, which I guess is essentially what they're doing. There's no real news yet if it's going to be an entire reboot of the story, or just kind of a soft reboot and kind of just jump into the action, as they say. So I think it would be interesting if they went with the latter, just kind of continued as a story, about Freddy killing kids in their dreams. I mean, that's really what it's all about. It is such this, good concept. It's such a good concept that can be followed through with. Really what we have with Nightmare on Elm Street, you don't really need to follow the exact beats per beats of the original 1984 film story. We don't necessarily need, a girl, she has the boyfriend, she has the friend who gets killed, she, has to stay up late and, figure things out about this whole little mystery. One of the other friends gets framed for murder and goes to jail, da-da-da-da-da. You don't need to follow those exact beats. The good thing about the story is how broad it can potentially be. We have an unassuming street, middle America, anywhere America, and somewhere on this seemingly normal street, there are kids dying mysteriously in their dreams, and the reality is that this killer, who was a child murderer, possibly child molester, who was tracked down by the parents after the trial went awry. There was a whole mix-up with the warrant, and parents tracked him down, killed him, and now he's getting revenge on the kids of the street and killing them in their dreams. Very supernatural, very scary, very cool, very campfire tale type stuff. So you don't really necessarily have to follow the story of the first film, just the concept of it. And when you think about that, kids on the street, getting killed in their dreams, trying to figure out what's going on, finding out it's Freddy, that's a good concept. And when you think about the classic original series, as good as the series was, as much as I love the series, as I hope I've established time and time again on this channel, not too many follow like not too many entries in the series followed through with that exact concept. A lot of them tried to kind of broaden their horizons and get a little adventurous. If you think about it, you could really make an argument that really the only two movies in the entire series that followed through with that exact concept were the first movie and the fourth movie. So in others, well, number two, who knows what was going on there. Number three, they had it contained to like a mental ward, and number five, it made it just kind of this personal Alice versus Freddy thing. So whatever. And Freddy versus Jason, you could argue maybe that, but there's a great concept there, I think, and I think that they should follow through with that. A group of kids, mysterious deaths, scary stuff. Very simple. Why can't you just do that? Why do you have to fuck up everything like they did with the remake and make this whole convoluted story about did he molest the kids, did he not molest the kids, what's going on, blah 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 blah. So I hope they go with that. I hope they just keep it as simple as possible, simple scary, I think. And the thing is, they haven't reported if Jackie Earle Haley is returning as Freddy, but it sounds like he's not, which is a shame. It really is, because he was the only decent thing about that movie. So to not see him get a second shot is kind of saddening. I mean, nothing against Jackie Earle Haley. So the only thing is, even if they do get him, I don't think they would get him back, because he would have the stank of that remake on him, and people would be confused thinking it's a sequel to it, and I think they want to distance themselves from the remake, so they're going to get someone entirely new. I heard reports of very bizarre, very big wishes for the role of Freddy Krueger. Obviously nothing's been confirmed. I think they dropped Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the names. Like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I even heard some very unwarranted, ungrounded rumors that Freddy may be a woman this time. Frida Krueger. I don't think we're going to see that. I think those are just rumors. I think they're going to get a male actor to play Freddy, and whoever it may be definitely has some big shoes to fill with Robert Englund. So it is a shame for Jackie Earle Haley not getting another shot. He was great for the role, but I guess he's just kind of destined to be the George Lazenby of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. But they might be better off, I think, casting a relative unknown in the role. Like, remember when the remake first came out, or was first announced, and they're like, let's get Billy Bob Thornton. I'm like, what? No, just get somebody who's good, someone who's scary, someone not super famous. We don't need someone super famous as Freddy. We need someone good, someone skilled, and I hope they find that. And I hope they do a good service to the series. I hope they make something that the fans will like. This is a very fan-loyal series, so I think they've learned their lesson from the remake. We got to treat them right. We got to give something that they want, basically. So I hope they treat it right. And as far as things goes, it's very vague right now. We don't know any specifics whatsoever. Just that there's a reboot planned, and how exactly that reboot will follow through is unsure. But I hope they don't follow the trend with certain reboots. You always see things like studios just think so little of us, that they want to trick us into seeing a potentially new movie. Think about Vacation, where it's really a sequel to the first Vacation movie, but they're pegging it as a remake and calling it Vacation. That makes no sense. They have a sequel to Ghostbusters coming out that's called Ghostbusters, with women characters who aren't women versions of the original characters, but completely new characters. So why not just call it something else? Why call it Ghostbusters? It's because they think so little of us. So I'll be very disappointed if they just call this a Nightmare on Elm Street again. Or maybe they'll follow that trend of, The Final Destination or Fast and Furious, and just call it Nightmare on Elm Street. I fucking hope not. Give it a cool name, like Nightmare on Elm Street, some kind of title. Dream something or other, I don't know, or capitalize on Star Wars success. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Nightmare Awakens. How about that? That'd be pretty cool. So it's unclear. It is yet to be seen how this is going to turn out. But you know what? I say, fuck the 2010 film. Let's start fresh. All is forgiven. New line. Platinum Dunes is out of the picture, which that's great. So I say I look forward to it. I say I'll be following news of this, and I'm going to try and stay as positive as possible. So hopefully they've learned from their mistakes. And, if there's any big news, I'd love to talk about it on my channel, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237.com. And until next time, I'll see you later. Pleasant dreams.